Hello, and welcome to another episode of Heart of the Park. I'm your host, Sean Welsh, and today we're sitting down with Hampton Bishop. He's an incredibly talented artist and the owner of HK Balloons. His designs have been featured everywhere from New York Fashion Week to Saturday Night Live and Jonas Brothers on Broadway. Hampton, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. If you don't mind, could you please tell our audience a little bit about how you first started into art and what your first creative experience was?
Sure. I loved art as a kid. Growing up, even in elementary school, art class was always my favorite. And whether it's drawing or creating, I always loved to create. It's funny, my parents talk now, but like other kids would be playing video games or doing other things. I would take trash bags, rolls of trash bags, and cut them into tubes and tape them with a box fan and make giant creations for our front yard. So I was always the kid that was like, what are they doing today? What are we making? So I've always been hands-on, and I think that kind of blends into my business now.
Absolutely. Awesome. So did you have formal training or are you more self-taught?
So there a little bit of both, right? When it comes to balloons, I ended up getting my CBA, which is Certified Balloon Artist.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a course that you take, and it's all about dimensions, color story, how to make things right. Like if you're doing centerpieces on a table, the right height, so you're not blocking someone's sight line. Because the worst thing would be is blocking someone's sight line and then they take it off the table and then it's money on the floor.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like learning that, and then safe practices, not doing helium balloon releases for the environment, how to recycle balloons, latex balloons come from trees. So it was kind of a course on all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
But then self-taught some ideas, but then I learned to twist balloons. So there's two sections of balloons. There's balloon decor and balloon twisting. Balloon twisting uses these long skinny balloons. It's what like a clown would use. The person that my friend Chip, who lived across the street, his uncle was an actual Ringling Brother clown.
Oh, wow.
Like legit clown college. And he taught me the fundamentals of twisting. And that was like in first grade. So balloons have always been part of my life.
Right. So out of the two styles, which one is your main preference?
I like balloon decor, which is going to be using the round balloons, but I try to marry both sections.
Yeah.
That way you can do round balloons, you just get to make larger stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to make big stuff.
Can you walk us through your artistic journey and just how it's evolved over the years?
Yeah. So again, going back to learning how to twist at an early age, and then implementing that when I moved to New York and busking in the park for tips, and then where I am now, it's crazy that I can look back at all of the events that I've done and kind of piece them back together. Like I did this to get this, and then I met that person, and now I'm doing that. So that's kind of cool. But then looking back, it's like, oh, I would have done that completely different. What were you thinking?
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, of course, that's what you would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten about your art?
Best piece of advice that I've received is learn how to pivot on the spot. Learn that plan A to plan B to C to Z, you always have got to be thinking. And sometimes I just lay in bed and think of like worst case scenario. What am I going to do if this happens? Or what if because the hard part with balloons is you inflate it and then you got to transport it, or you've got to hang it. So balloons pop. It's fragile. So you have to kind of navigate what that looks like. And like, okay, I'm going to hang it on a ceiling, and I like to use magnets. You get there, it's made of aluminum and it doesn't stick. So now what's the next plan? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So you've got to go to your tool bag and say, okay, well now we've got this clip, or we can use suction cup, or we can do 10 million other ways to do it. And I think the fun part is when you pivot in those moments, sometimes you surprise yourself and say, why have I not been doing it that way the entire time? This is a better way.
Right.
And you kind of learn and grow and evolve from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess your artwork, is it more meticulously planned or spontaneous, a little both?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Some things like walls or like specific patterns, if I'm doing a company's logo, it's very specific. And so in my head, I view it like Legos or a puzzle.
Oh, okay.
So I will inflate all the pieces, and then you put the pieces together, boom. there you go. Other times, if you're like, somebody wants a giant blue owl, well, you start and then you're like, oh, well, his wings need to be bigger. So then you're like adding, and then you're adding and you're adding until you step back and you're like, okay, I can. So sometimes it's organic, and then other times it's very planned.
Yeah.
Or for like larger sets for Broadway or for even TV, they need very specific. It can be no more than 3 feet wide. So you have to really measure and make sure that everything is perfectly lined up, because then they're going to yell at you. They want it a very specific way.
Right.
And they're paying you to make it perfect. So yeah, you got to kind of be whimsical in some moments and then very structured in others.
Yeah. So when you're working on a piece, a big piece like that, how do you know when the artwork's finished as an artist?
If the puzzle's done, then I'm done. If it's a whimsical moment, I think there's sometimes where you just have to step back and say, okay, I think we're good. Because my head, I'm like, oh, well, I could add one more blue balloon right there. And it's like, oh, well, maybe I should add another one over here. And then you'd be there all day.
Right.
At some point, you have to walk away and say, that's a balloon problem. Nobody else would know.
Right.
Nobody else would notice that. You're nitpicking everything.
It seems like for most artists, the work's never really done. You just have to step back.
You have to step back and say, okay, we're done. But where people that paint or people that they can go back and it stays. Once I inflate it, its life has started and it has an end. It will not last forever.
Yeah.
So you have to make it quick, right? And then step back and say, okay, go enjoy it. Kind of like flowers. You know they're going to die. So just enjoy while you have it.
Yeah.
And people have to, it's fleeting. You got to, from the moment it's done, it's only got a short life.
Right.
So enjoy it while you can.
Hampton, what's the most challenging part of the creative process for you?
I think the most creative or the most challenging part would be not wanting to go overboard. I think sometimes pulling myself back. I get very excited and I want to just cover everything.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people need to get pulled back by the client. They're like, okay, wow. Okay, that's a lot of ideas. And so I think trying to narrow down what I want to do is probably my hardest point, because I'll be like, oh, well, and we could do this and this and this. And then realizing, oh, you have 30 minutes to set up. You're really going to cover this building in balloons in 30 minutes? I don't know. So I think real life comes in and it's like, okay, no, you can't. That's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then if it's outside weather's a big one. And I don't want to make the news. I don't want Charleston Airport to be like, flying balloon garland takes down plane. That's not exactly the advertising I need to say that I covered another building. I don't need that.
Well, supposedly there's no such thing as bad advertising, but maybe so.
I think that might be not good.
So, Hampton, what brought you to Charleston, South Carolina, and then what made you pick specifically the Park Circle area?
Okay, after I was living in New York City and after COVID, things were trying to bounce back, and I don't think they really were. And then we decided to move, and Charleston was on our radar, and Park Circle specifically, with being in walking distance to all the restaurants, to shopping, to the park itself. I mean, my gosh, what a asset it is to the community.
Yeah.
And just having everything kind of in walkability gave us that big city feel, but with the Charleston charm. And then it's so centrally located for business. 20 minutes, you could be anywhere else in the city. So it just makes perfect sense. And Park Circle is the best. I think it's the best, but I'm a little biased, but
myself as well.
Yeah. But the people, our neighbors are from LA or way far on the West Coast or far away or up north. And so it's just kind of this melding pot of everyone. And so I kind of compare it to like Brooklyn or like East Nashville for those that are not from here, as in like it's art, it's got the scene, it's got great food, it's got just a melding pot of people. Yeah, I think is a really cool that you don't get in the other parts of the island or downtown or and against them, but we just have more of a collective feel, a community, right? And everybody kind of knows each other, and we all help each other, and I think that's what makes it cool.
How has this move impacted your art and your business?
It's definitely impacted it. Just it's kind of like starting over. Being in New York and having that community and then being here and starting over, it definitely has made me change. It People need different things here. In New York, I was doing mostly corporate.
Okay.
And here I get to be with more people, which I love. People can now come to me and say, I want race car green, blue, red, and I need it tomorrow. And I'm like, yes, let's make it go. And that's what makes it cool, is because I then I get to see the memories, right? Like it's fun to do someone's gender reveal, someone's first birthday, and then do their 6th birthday. And you get to see their entire life and be part of their memories.
Yeah.
Those photos, that's what lasts. And so if I can make something that somebody can have, and it does, it's a fleeting art, but the picture, and then I get to be part of their special moments. And that's what makes it cool for me.
Yeah.
Because I get to bring that to somebody else.
And become part of the family.
And now I'm part of the family.
Yeah.
And then please hire me to keep doing
Absolutely.
wedding, bachelorette, sweet 16, bring it on.
Yeah. So what would you say is the biggest challenge you face as an artist in North Charleston?
I think being seen or being known, because I am so new. I think trying to get out there and meet everybody, I think that's probably, I'm home-based. I'm a home-based studio. So I'm not on the strip. I don't have a storefront. So I think just visibility, but getting out there, I think I'm, trying to meet everybody I can, but I think that's probably having people know where I'm at, I think is probably the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could have a conversation with any artist, either alive or deceased, who would it be and why?
Okay. I've thought about this, just because there's so many great artists, but we were in Barcelona a couple of months ago, and we went to the Sagrada Familia, if I'm saying that right. And the architect was Gaudi. And all of his work, he did so much cool stuff. It's all tile and mosaic. But what spoke to me is he doesn't have any straight lines. There's no 90-degree angles, whether it's a wall that curves or tile that you think, okay, it's a perfect square. Not his. And so like his color stories and have everything without a sharp edge, because my art has no sharp edges. Everything is rounded to me. So looking at how he does stuff, and I was just standing there looking at the cathedral and being like, oh, I would have never put those colors together, but I'm going to save that.
Yeah.
Put that in the mental, because then I can use that in who knows what.
Yeah.
Because then I can just sit and mix colors.
Yeah.
And I've got 130 plus shades of color.
Wow.
So sitting and thinking, and that's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you passionate about the colors?
I am. I love how many different colors there are. And it's really cool too. So it's kind of like Pantone colors. Like if someone calls me, we can like color match. So like if you take this orange, grab it. It's very translucent. You can see through it.
Right.
And then you take like chrome gold. So then you have both of these.
Right.
Two very different things. But if you double stuff it and put the gold inside of the orange, you then get chrome orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then you can kind of like Pantone match to any color. So then you can kind of sit and create. Sometimes I'll just be like, oh, I wonder what yellow and this random blue looks like. And you're like, oh, that's really pretty. I should use that. So I like getting to be creative and try to create something new, or whether it's adding lights or adding special effects. Like if I'm going to build a train, I want it to have smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you achieve that?
Good old smoke machine and fog and piping. And then, sometimes I just go to Home Depot and or Lowe's and just walk the aisles, and I look at things and I'm like, oh, that is not how it's supposed to be used at all, but I can use it for this.
Yeah.
And then you see me with a random basket full of junk.
Yeah.
And then I'm taping it together, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to work. This is great.
Yeah. I can see the cashier now looking as she checks each thing. Just like, what is going on here?
What is this? I'm like, oh yeah, don't wait. This is going to be a train.
Yeah.
Or flamingo. Who knows? It could be anything. But yeah, so I like to look at things in a different way or try to create something new,
Yeah.
something we haven't seen.
What advice would you give to a young artist just starting out?
I would give the advice to keep your head down and focus. Opportunities will come, but I think right now in the social media movement, there's a lot of noise, right? You see other people doing your craft and they might have 300,000 followers. And just because they have followers doesn't mean that they're doing it right or doing everything. And so I think focusing on you and realizing what you do well will make you stand apart. Because if you just sit and scroll and you look at like, oh, this person's doing this or this person's doing that, that should be me, or that should have been an opportunity that I should have, that can give you in a negative headspace. And art does not come from negativity. It comes from positivity. And so I think keeping focused on what you do and what you do well will then set you apart.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. That's great advice.
So, Hampton, what is on the horizon for you in 2026, and what can our audience do to help support you?
Yeah, there's so much coming. There's balloons leave this studio every single day, so that's a good thing. But absolutely, checking out my website, going to my Instagram, and then supporting all of the local businesses. When water rises, it rises all ships. And so I think our community in Park Circle, if we keep using each other and keep rising us up, then everybody gets benefit out of it. Whether you're the new Black Octopus shop or you're one of the restaurants or you're going to the concert, wherever it is, we all, I think, help each other. And so, helping one helps all. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Hampton, thank you so much for taking the time to sit
Of
down.
course. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
And thank you to our audience for tuning in to another episode of Heart of the Park. I've been your host, Sean Welsh. Please join us again next time as we meet more of the people who make Park Circle the crown jewel of North Charleston, South Carolina.